Thank you so much, Jess. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if you're the underdog or not. That's a hell of a way to start off the day, hell of a way to start off playoffs as well for eUnited. And Momo, first question that I really do have for you, we're going to just think about how this series actually did play out. It was a quick one, so still mind reeling a little bit. Did you expect eUnited, even if they did come out on top, to look this dominating?
I don't think anyone did. Is the simple answer. I didn't. I don't think many at home will. I'm sure there's some solid eUnited fans which were raring them to go like that. But a 3-0, the fashion that it kind of went, no one. You can't expect that. The one thing I will say is Birmingham and playoffs now. That's been 2 hot 3-0s. Maybe it's just the matchup. You know, we heard on Hot Mic how certain teams match up well against others. Fair play, eUnited. I think they've done their homework.
That is the thing. You really start thinking about the matchup. But now let's take a deep dive. I want to talk about map number 1 in general because, look, Rise, they're out slaying in that map and still eUnited able to pull down the win.
eUnited plays it smarter. Like, there's a clip towards the end of the game we saw from eUnited that just shows how well they understand the map pressure. So the situation here, 25 seconds left on the hill, so you think you don't want to push for scrap. eUnited, they send 3 players over here, and yes, they lose some of the gunfights, but Clay, what he does, he takes maybe 5-6 seconds away from Rise Nation right there. Yes, eUnited dies, but because of where they spawn, they get information. If they spawn over on the radio tower side of things, they know players in the back, and because someone for Rise Nation is forced to gather that scrap time, they have the man advantage. So they played incredibly well to lock the spawns, and that's the icing on the cake. The only opportunity Rise had to get back in it was using the streaks, but the mountain was thrown on. They did everything well. They applied pressure in the correct situations, fight for scrap in the appropriate way. Not all 4 players diving in. You only send 3 because you know players are going to die at some point, and then you read the spawns appropriately. They handle St. Marie Hardpoint very, very well. They got the cool, calm, collected win there, and is the perfect way for them to start the series.
Definitely a cool, calm, collected win there. But then when we get over to map 2, and that's going to be our play of the game, that's where eUnited really starts to sink their claws in this series.
Yeah, I think eUnited as a whole, I think this is where, you know, you'd look at, I was thinking it was halfway there. But eUnited, you think, you know, if they take this search and destroy, they can really put the pressure on, which they do. So we're actually jumping on board at round number 10 here and just letting it play out. But for me, again, it was the constant pressure that eUnited had upon Rise Nation. And I think this is where Chance said before the series is more in the back. So you've got a game plan. As the underdog, you've got a game plan. You've got to really research your opponent, especially if they are, you know, a champion that they were, of course. I think eUnited have done this perfectly. The mind games, the way they played this out, it's incredible.
And ultimately, the situation we find ourselves in here is Rise, they have to use the streaks. You can't lose a game of Search and Destroy if you have score streaks and not burn them. So even though they had the man advantage, they wanted to invest the glide bomb, but it costed them, right? Because we even saw on the hard point, eUnited, very smart team, they have Mountain on. So Silly, after he gets this plant, as long as he doesn't move, when that glide bomb gets called in, it's basically guesswork from Methods. So instead of them trying to just all 3 flood into the bomb site and work your trades, they try to make a play call that they thought they were forced to make, and Silly plays it perfectly, right? Like Merc talks about, Silly's going for the 50-50, but even when Methods throws his nades, Silly can wait. Someone's eventually going to push in, and of course, the problem for Rise Nation, you get 0 information off the glide bomb. You've already wasted the time. You got to make a play. And Silly, again, perfect positioning. And despite the fact that his teammate loses the gunfights, get out of dodge at the perfect time. Everything went right here for Silly.
I like the way Silly was so decisive in his decision-making, because what they do is they guard 2 of the 3, you know, entrances. They kind of forget about the back. They risk that. But as soon as Silly's teammate goes down, he is in that house so quickly. Very, very close there. It was a bit nervous towards the end. We were like, you got to check, you got to check. He does it. He picks it at the right time, and deservedly so. That is the play of the game.
And that round 10 is going to be enough for them to close out map number 2. It's going to earn them the play of the game presented by Scuff, and ultimately we head over to Flag Tower and we just see, look, that map, we don't even need to look at a replay here. Chance, it was just dominant.
It was bullying, and it's the game planning. We saw a lot of aggressive rounds on defense from eUnited on the, what was it, the St. Marie Search and Destroy. They got good maps that they game planned for. And how many times did, like, RCDs pull out a bar just to kind of have that? You don't see it. Like, on Flag Tower at one point, eUnited was running 2 ARs. They talked about all this in advance. They came in with the game plan, and they executed to perfection.
I just don't think there could have been a better way to kick off this entire tournament. Ultimately, now we are going to see Rise. They still do go to that lower portion of the bracket, but with the top 8 teams in the world, it's not exactly a place you want to be. But congratulations to eUnited. We're going